待て。なんだすかよな。なんだ。Cheers, my guy.
Oh, wow, this is good.
My goodness gracious.
This is
Thank
amazing.
God for this drug that is called coffee and it's legal. What do we have over here today, man?
Today we have a new packaging. How do you pronounce it? I don't even know how to pronounce
Lavazza.
it. Lavazza. It's Italian, right?
Yes.
Should be Italian.
Can you
Let me
tell them
see.
what's the roast or... I know it's mild and
Product
fruity.
of Italy. Yeah, it reminds me of Fabio, actually, the way you pronounce it.
Yeah.
So this is mild and fruity. So
Yeah.
it's probably medium roast, I would say. But it's... Yeah, amazing coffee. I'm a fan.
Yeah, welcome to another episode of Bad Decisions Coffee Break. We are down to episode number 5.
I cannot fucking believe it. We are at episode 5, no stop. We didn't miss any weeks, and we are here another Wednesday
And
hopefully
we're not gonna miss any.
Not gonna miss.
I don't
miss
even
any.
know if you have like seasons of podcasts. I know some people do that.
Actually,
they take a break and then they continue again.
Oh, I have something to tell people. So last night I was figuring out how we can post all of this on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, and it was asking me what season you're in, and I was like, oh my god, we never thought about that. So I just put everything as season 1 and then episode 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah,
but let's keep it. I think
So the thing is, we don't want to plan any seasons because the goal is we just want to keep doing the podcast, and because we are working all the fucking time, we're super workaholics. We are not thinking of taking a break anytime soon. So if anytime we feel like, all right, we've done like 100 episodes and we need like 2 weeks of break, then maybe we'll do it. But we don't have any breaks planned. So you can continue to expect to see us every week on Wednesdays or Thursdays when we do upload. And thank you, Farhad, for making sure we actually go on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all this, because Catalyst, our other member of Bad Decision Studio, he did mention he does not enjoy watching the podcast on 4K quality on YouTube because it eats up his data,
and he listens to it on the way to uni, and then so we thought a lot of people might be listening to this in their car when they're stuck in traffic.
Yeah,
they are on the way to work,
or maybe
school.
You're taking a shit and you're listening to us because that's what you want to do, and you don't want to watch it. You want to just listen to it.
Yeah, so
because we have soothing voices.
Yeah. So from I think I can promise from end of this week I'll put the last 4 episodes, and starting next week every episode when we post on YouTube, it will be on different platforms, audio only. Spotify, you still can have the video.
Yeah.
The rest would be only audio.
Perfect. So you have both audio and video choices. Now, we have other news that we want to share with you guys. And one of the most important ones is we just started a daily vlog. Yes, you heard it right. Oh my
God.
Aside from our Bad Decision Studio work, which we're working on MetaHumans, motion capture, Unreal Engine, Blender, 3D, VR, AR, we just decided, you know what? The podcast wasn't enough. We're going to take up the time to create a vlog every single day because, listen, we moved to Canada with the hope of making it, right? We quit our jobs. We quit everything we had to come here and make it. And we realized the only way we can do that is by sharing all of the stuff that we learned with the world. That's why we started the podcast.
But the podcast was only limited to the information about work. So we, like in this 1 hour, we only tell people what do we do during our work time, what do we research about.
Yeah.
The daily vlog is like another window to our process.
Into our soul.
Our life. Yeah, exactly.
If you think about the podcast being more professional, even though we're not really that professional, we joke around a lot. You can only imagine what we do on an hourly basis. We're fucking around all the time. We're very different than your typical like nerdy 3D artist because we are that artist too. We are nerdy when it comes to the actual work. But at the same time, because we're gamers, we party as well. All of these characters we feel like is not being shown to the world. And we think it's interesting to show that side of us in the vlog. Plus, we are watching motivational speakers and, you know, big businessmen like Gary Vee every single day to get motivated. And we feel like our journey can be motivating once we make it because we're putting in so much time and effort. We understand there's so many people who are in the same situation who either don't know how to get to the top. Not that we do know. It's just that I believe that we're going to make it to the top.
100%.
Yeah.
No doubt. I have absolutely no doubt. If you see the process, you know when we get there, how did we get there and how other people also can do the same thing.
So no luck involved. We want to show that.
Yeah, no luck involved, no magic pills, no
shortcuts.
Yeah,
no
shortcuts, nothing. It's just hard work every single minute. every single minute.
And we want to show the ups and downs, so the whole thing is documented, so there's proof. So tomorrow they won't say, daddy's money, or they have family money. We want to show fucking proof when it's all done. And I think at the same time, it's going to be another way for us to meet new people. But that's about the daily vlog.
But where are we putting it? So it will be only on TikTok.
Yes.
We are not going to put it on YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter, which we are actually very active on this social media platforms too. We decided on TikTok because, so far we are spending so much time just posting our own content. So if you want to post that in all the social media platforms, it will take a lot of time. We will put it on TikTok. If it turns out to be good, it will be good. We might consider YouTube at the end. We wouldn't know. But for the first 30 days, we are committed to TikTok, right?
Yes, exactly. We were going to do TikTok only just as a test because we haven't seen anybody do daily vlogs. Like, people do vlogs, but they're just showing a brief intro into their life. They all look the same. They're just preparing coffee and then going to buy food or something like that. We want to show the raw process of how people used to do it, like Casey Neistat on YouTube, but this time on TikTok. If it doesn't work out, we're ready to switch to YouTube. So testing TikTok for 30 days. That's where you can catch the vlog. And then if we feel like we need to change, we're going to come and put it on YouTube. But eventually, when we have a bigger team, we're going to do all social media platforms. For now, TikTok only. You can catch it at BatX Studio. Aside from that, I had another piece of news I wanted to talk about, but I actually forgot. So why don't we just...
memory.
Yeah, why don't we just go ahead? If I remember, I will talk about it. But why don't we just start with the topic of today? Because it is something that you probably clicked on the thumbnail for. And it is huge, it's fresh, it's hot, and I can't wait to get it started. So Farah, why don't you take it away?
So in the past week or in the past month, you have been bombarded with AI news. Everybody's talking about it. You will see 1,000 tools out there and you don't know which one to use. I personally get confused because I'm in it. I use it every day, but then I see every day people are posting new video editing tool, chatbot, text to image. Saw the video that the guy made an anime out of, that was crazy.
Corridor Crew,
exactly. That was amazing,
fantastic.
By the way. So in today's episode, we are going to go through two of our most favorite AI tools and how we are going to use it as a practical application in our daily life and how also you can use it in your business, at school, at work to actually really helps you work smarter and speed up your processes. That's exactly why we use AI in our everyday life.
Yeah.
So today's focus would be on Openai GPT. So far it has been GPT 3.5. Yeah. Yesterday, Sam Altman on Twitter introduced GPT4, which is mind-blowing. It was crazy. We watched the whole demo video and we are going to break it down for you. Also, we are going to talk about our favorite text-to-image generator, Midjourney.
That's right. It's a huge week for AI, artificial intelligence, because both of these guys actually announce an update. So a lot of people thought it's just going to be a big week for Midjourney, which is a text-to-image prompt generator. But then at the same time, GPT came around and GPT4 was announced and Midjourney V5 together. Now, they're different companies doing different things, but essentially, it's just a huge advancement in AI all happening in a week. And I was just telling Farah, you know what's crazy? When Google was the search engine that was around, let's say like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago, when people were like super excited about Google being around, it wasn't like every 2 weeks or every month you had like a huge update to Google. This is the crazy thing about AI, because these models and data sets and algorithms can get updated, not just by devs, but on their own as people are using these technologies.
By communities and,
Exactly. That's why these AIs are advancing on a very rapid pace. And so just seeing how fast the technology is improving, I cannot fucking imagine what it will be like in like 2 years time.
Oh my fucking
2
God.
years.
Dude, yesterday it blew my mind just watching the demo. In 2 years time, a lot of people have to reconsider their workflow and their job. Not gonna say that AI will take your job, but you have to reconsider the way you work and reconsider the way you use these tools, because we are gonna explain everything.
I'm not gonna fucking lie to you, dude. I'm low-key scared. I'm low-key. Okay, let me tell you where I stand with all of this, right? Where I stand with all of this is very simple. I am definitely for AI. I'm definitely for AI, and I think it should be there because it is going to make our lives easier, like how the phone or the social network platforms, social media platforms helped us. All of these platforms at first were scary, but then they actually help us in the long term. Of course, they have disadvantages, but that's another topic for another day. These AIs, though, are kind of scary to me because when they're advancing so quickly, I'm literally scared for my job. Like some of the things that I do that I spent so long learning, these AIs will be able to do it very soon, like modeling something in 3D. But this is the thing. I genuinely believe we have to learn how to adapt quicker than the AI is adapting. And as long as we stay creative and we adapt, I don't think it's something to be scared about. It's just scary how fast it's growing.
And using AI is like, I would say it's like driving a car. You can give a Ferrari to a person, to two different person, you will get two different outcomes in the way they drive. One can be, a Formula One driver and then he wins all the races. The other one might, crash it and hit the wall.
Very good example.
If AI is a tool, you need to know how to use it. Now, GPT is available for everybody. A lot of people are making money out of it. Yeah. A lot of people don't know how to use it. Midjourney, the same thing. If you go to Midjourney page, you will see amazing photo on the home page. Go and try out and give a prompt yourself. You will get something that is half-baked and, doesn't even make sense to use that photo in any sort of way. So, again, there would be a lot of jobs as like how do you have now machinery operator, you would be AI operator. You would give prompts, you would know how to use it, you would know how to exactly get what you want out of this large set of data set and models. So I think there would be new job openings, and of course there will be jobs that will be overtaken by AI.
I absolutely agree with you. And I think as we start discussing GPT-4 and Midjourney 5, we can discuss this further, and also as we get to the end of today's episode. But let's just tell everybody what's the flow that we're going to have, so you know exactly how we're going to go about this. We're going to talk about GPT-4 first.
Let's talk about I want to tell people how we use these tools on our daily life so they can use it too, and also give them the update, because the update is really fresh. GPT is for yesterday. Midjourney, if only you are a paid member, you could have
no, you can't try it yet. You can't even. It's not even out.
Samples, right?
You can see the samples and rate the model to train the model better.
Only the paid members can do that, right?
Only paid members can do that.
So we are gonna give
they're not out yet.
Yeah. And then at the end, Faraz, maybe you can explain about how Midjourney works and what are the best practices on how to prompt it and all those things. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's start with GPT.
Yeah. So GPT-4. I know you've been watching a lot of videos about it. You did tell me a little bit, but just go ahead and tell everyone because it's freaking me out. If you haven't watched the demo, Farad is going to give you like a quick brief of everything that he saw.
So before we talk about GPT-4, I'm going to talk about, because so far we have been using GPT 3.5, and what we have been using as an individual or as a studio, we have been using it to finding title for our games and ARs. It's as simple as that. So I will explain what our AR will do, and I will tell him, can you give me some catchy titles? And I'm not kidding, the Snap Lensathon winning AR experience title was picked by ChatGPT 3.5.
That's right.
The Mystery of King 2, The Adventure Through Time. So I explained what was the AR about. It gave me 10 options. All 10 were amazing, accurate, and I chose this. Another thing that we used to answer our emails for work and also to create invoices for our clients. Sometimes you have a big client, you are charging them a big amount of money. You cannot just write one sentence, created this. You have to write like 4 or 5 sentences so it can deliberately tells you plan, research, collaborate, like all those small details that you need. So if you're a company and you're invoicing someone, use it for that.
That was the funniest one as well, because when you do something for a client, let's say you design an image for a client and you're not using AI. Let's say you're actually designing an image for a client. When the client asks you for an invoice, just like Farad said, all you're thinking in your head is like, okay, maybe I like open Photoshop and I created the image. But then when you actually ask GPT to create the invoice, it manages to write it in 8 steps in full detail that you're like, oh shit, I actually did do all of this.
Yeah, and I didn't think about it.
And you didn't think about it. So because it has a wider vocabulary than we do. And so that's why it can create all these amazing things. The invoice thing was really cool.
Another thing that we used, which was really, really helpful, was asking for a game guide. So we were designing a game and we wanted to, explain every step of the game. So I would tell GPT that what is the game about? What are we going to do? So for example, I'm going to open the door now. The guy's going to drop, or I'm going to pick this up. It will give you a game narrative, which is really enticing. And you can use it as a, gameplay hint for the audience.
Mostly I use it for emails. So we had to email immigration When you're emailing all these, like, especially like if I would say government entities, you have to be very formal with the way you ask your questions.
And we don't know how to be formal, obviously.
Yeah, so we're texting all the time, right? We're very informal. So ChatGPT was used for that, email specifically. I did use it to get ideas for some of the videos that we were putting out on social media. Sometimes I could get what I wanted. Sometimes I couldn't. You really have to learn how to speak to it. I realize you have a much better understanding of how to speak to ChatGPT. Like, you literally just keep adding. So when you ask your initial question, then it answers it for you. Then you just keep iterating on that answer. Keep the conversation
going, yeah.
Exactly. So that's not how I would do things on Midjourney, because that's like a very different style. That's what I'm used to. But I've seen you use it. I haven't used it, honestly, to the best of its capabilities yet. I think like...
You will use GPT-4, I promise you. And another thing that a lot of people are like me who just started or who don't have any programming background. So I just started learning JavaScript. It's very easy for me to make an error when writing a piece of code, especially when I'm developing my AR experiences.
Yeah.
I can use GPT 3.5 to get, JavaScript snippet codes. Like I can tell him, write this function for me, or I can even give the function and ask him to explain. So it's great in that way. Yeah. But enough about 3.5. Let's talk about the hot GPT-4. Yeah. So the difference between 3.5 and 4 are described as GPT-4 is more capable, less biased, and is multimodal. What does multimodal mean? In the current GPT 3.5, you can only have text conversation. You can ask question, it will answer you. You can ask another question. Multimodal means now you can have image. So you can send it an image, upload an image, and ask GPT-4, can you please describe it? Or you can upload an image of a clock, and you can ask, what time is it now? It understands the image.
Okay.
It will understand every single component.
I don't understand. Okay, so you got to explain that further, because why would you give it a clock and ask it what time is it? Maybe, do you have a better example of where would you use an image? Like, how do you... Okay, tell me.
So, that's one of the examples that they showed during the dev demo.
Right.
But I can tell you easily, you can send an image and you can ask it to describe the image. Or you can even ask...
Like, give me an example. What kind of image would you need explained or described to you if you're submitting into GPT?
I would say let me think what would be a good example of an image. So you can give an image of a person that you don't know. Okay, and it will tell you who he is. What they did, you can upload a photo of course, you know who Barack Obama and Donald Trump is. But imagine it's a ceremony on LinkedIn. A lot of CEOs, a lot of CMOs, you are a sales manager. You want to contact every single one of them.
But do you think it can find those people, or they have to be like super famous? Because they have to be in the data set, right?
It is trained until 2021. So probably if the guy is a CEO of a company who's
like a
active,
big company,
you will know who he is.
Okay.
So that's one.
That's good.
Another. I'll give you an example in a few minutes that will blow your mind.
Okay.
It will blow your mind. So, but let's talk about how 3.5 and 4 are different. So the first example that they showed in the demo was to talk about the capabilities. Okay. So it uploaded a blog post to 3.5, and it asked it, can you summarize it in one sentence that every single word starts with the letter A? 3.5 gave up. It couldn't do it.
Okay.
So basically, imagine you have a paragraph. It's like 10 paragraphs, and you have to summarize it in one sentence. It should make sense, and every single word should start with the same letter. That is crazy. I don't think any human can do it, even after spending an hour.
Okay.
GPT-4 did it. It asks it to start with A. It says AI advances astonishingly something, a sentence that it actually made sense. And it asked now the audience, what people were commenting on Discord, or it was a live YouTube video. It says Q. I cannot even give 10 words that start with Q right now.
I can't fucking do that.
It summarized the whole thing with all the words starting with Q, quantifiable, quality, something like it. It was crazy. It was really crazy. So that was just a demo. That's not something that you can use every day, but that shows the power of how fast it can learn. Remember, the article was not there. It wasn't trained or the article beforehand.
It's something that you give to the system, right?
Because the GPT is trained until 2021, and the article was on Openai website. So it just uploaded the article in the playground, and it asked question. So the second example.
This is so you're saying this is something that everybody has access to. Wait, no, one second. It's something that only devs can do it in with the API, or no, everybody can just like there's an upload button. I can upload and then I can just talk about that. Is that how it works?
So there is a playground UI front end that you can
Right.
use it, but for GPT-4, it's only available for GPT plus.
No, that
And
I'm
also
aware.
the API.
That like
No,
for
if it is
paid members, I get that, but like and paid members are not only for now, right? Eventually, it will be free for everyone.
I think so, but it's a $20 per month. So I don't know, but the playground that you're talking about, everybody can use it.
So it's open. It's not like I need to go to the back end and like.
No,
okay.
it's a front end that you can copy and paste and use it. This is not the API. This is like a front end that you can copy and paste.
Is it like a copy and paste text, or can I upload a document like a PDF or a book?
I saw that the guy copy pasted a text, and it's up to a certain. There is a word limit to it. For
Was
now.
it 25,000?
Yeah, for now.
Oh
for
no,
now.
that was 25,000 with how much words it can generate. I read that actually. It can generate up to 25,000 words
It's
now.
crazy, man.
So
It's
you
crazy.
can write a 25,000 word essay
Yeah.
with GPT-4.
So it's crazy. So the second example, it moves toward the direction of how GPT-4 is more logical and can draw conclusion. So it's not a bot that goes and find information and spit it out to you. It can
Like
draw,
Google does?
Yeah, it can draw conclusions. So what it does is, we had an article already. So there was another article. It asked it, can you find the common theme between these two articles?
Did it do it?
Yes, it analyzed both, and it was pretty fast. And it tells, okay, the common thing between these two articles is this. And then the conversation kept going. He was like, no, I don't think that's accurate. Try it again.
Okay.
So it's crazy how now I can imagine if it was there back in my uni days, how much I could use it. Like how many essays I wrote in English that I had to find a theme, or I had to find a better way to describe things.
Do you think, because, okay, this is the truth. OpenAI is trying to be very politically correct as well. If you've seen like the way they're updating all the information and they're talking about like all these updates, I'm sure that universities or OpenAI themselves is doing something so that students can't just copy an
Good luck.
answer. No. OpenAI themselves.
I saw that you can detect, but come on, you can go and change some words, and then I don't think you can detect after that. I mean, when these things go, why would you need students to go and write essays now when there is an essay written for you all the time? What is the purpose of learning the skill of writing a
If you can just get it from the AI.
Yeah, I mean,
Makes
there is
sense.
no point
I'm
forcing
with you on
there-
that. Listen,
No,
I was
no.
a student. I've never
yeah, there
been
is
a
no
teacher.
point. Let students learn things that are actually beneficial for
They
them.
should fucking learn how to use
use
the
AI.
AI
Yes,
to
exactly.
better come up with a good research, to come
Yeah.
up with something that is accurate. That should be the fucking like lesson.
Example 3 is exactly what I think now is an actual real world application.
Okay.
And how people, it's not a one-stop shop, how it can, have the conversation going on. GPT-4 created a Discord bot. So it asked GPT-4, can you create this Discord bot that does this function for me? It went and read all the Discord documentation prior to 2021 and came out with a code. Not only the code, the pseudocode as well, means it said what it's going to do. Okay, I'm going to write a function first. We need to define this variable. This is the code. Second.
So you're telling me all the time people have spent to create Discord bots, you can now do by just asking GPT-4?
Yes, you can. And let me tell you how it went up. So the first response that it came out, the guy tried it, the person who was demoing tried it, and there was an error for it. It copied and pasted the error to GPT-4, and then it found the error and solved the problem. So it gave another reply, and this time the problem was solved. And where did the error came from? Because of course Discord updated their documentation from 2021. Now is 2 years. So there was additional thing. There was a must-fill column that they had to fill in. There was additional things. Now what the guy did, he updated the document in GPT-4, and now the new result, it worked perfectly. How crazy is that?
Okay, how sophisticated was the bot? What was the Discord bot that he created?
The Discord bot was actually talking to GPT-4. So it was a Discord bot. When you type in that Discord channel, it would send an API and then get the response back.
So what was the request that he put for the Discord bot? Like he said,
No, then
what
it would
did he
go-
want the Discord bot to do?
It would go to the channel. Now you could ask anything from the Discord bot.
It connected it
Yes,
to GPT.
exactly.
So did you see like him
Yeah,
writing
he
that
started-
text?
and everything from now on, it happened on Discord from this point. So now the image came up. it uploaded an image in Discord and it said, tell me what's funny about this image. And the image was about, I think it was a squirrel holding a camera and taking photo of a nut. GPT-4 said, oh, this is funny because squirrels usually eat the nut. They don't take photo of the nut. It's crazy. And then one person from the audience gave a photo. Probably the photo was created by Openai, DALL-E, or Midjourney because it was an astronaut skiing in a snowy mountain. So something that you don't see often. It perfectly described it. It says an astronaut snowing in a, you know.
No, wait, hold on. I'm not even surprised by that. That is obvious it can do, but let's go back to the Discord. Do you know how many people make money from Discord bots?
Oh, is it an actual job?
Of course it's an actual job. The music bot that you listen to, all these are like there's paid. There's paid.
Oh yeah, actually true.
There's a lot of paid bots that big Discord servers use to do different things in the server. So you're telling me right now you can go and start making money by making Discord bots that do certain things that are useful to people and start charging people for that.
Yeah, but again, you can do it. So it goes back to you on how to use GPT.
How creative are you in your ideas?
Yes, exactly. How creative you can
and
get.
And can you potentially mix a bunch of different codes?
And give something valuable to the people that they really want. So it gives you the tool.
Okay, I'm done with this podcast. I'm going to go create some bots, make some more money because this is not making me money right now.
Come back here. I have a better example for you.
Okay,
so after we were done,
dude, that Discord bot is crazy.
So it gave it an image. It explained it. Everybody at this point, I think everybody's mind was blown away already. And then the second last example came up. I'm pretty sure people saw the photos on social media, but I'm going to put the snippet of the video. So there was a notebook right beside the guy. There was a hand-drawn website. Imagine a square and writing in a handwritten word. Very ugly.
He wrote the title and everything?
He wrote the title very ugly. He said, my joke website. And then he put some buttons and some text, uploaded the photo, and said, make it a website. It came out with an HTML code and a working website.
So he told ChatGPT to use that photo of his hand drawing of the website, and ChatGPT or GPT-4 turned that into an actual working website?
Actual working code for a website. So HTML code, which he runs the HTML code, and the website was it. This was crazy. This was absolutely mind-blowing.
So you're telling me we don't need to code Discord bots anymore. We don't need to use Wix.com anymore.
No, I'm not saying you have to stop using all of this. Again, it gives you the tool. So now, for example, if I want to create a website, it is much easier. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me tell you
one
this.
second. No. Hear me out. I know where you're gonna go with this. You're gonna be, like politically correct in the way that.
No.
No. Okay, I understand. You're saying that you can still use Wix and all of this, but we're talking about the improvements that are being made fast today, literally. I'm telling you, don't think about it now. I'm talking about it in 6 months' time or in a year's time. You're telling me that what we have now won't be upgraded to a version that you literally give it an image, like you Photoshop. Forget about hand-drawn. You Photoshop the website that you want.
Yeah, Figma it.
No, not even Figma. Let's say some people don't even know how to use Figma. Photoshop, everybody uses Photoshop. I Photoshop my website and I give it and I get the code out.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so why do you need
now?
Eventually.
No, but again, I would say there's a lot of things behind it. When you create a website, you have to make it mobile responsive. Then you have to say, oh, when I click this button, this happened, interaction. So those are the things that now you can, if you are a website developer, you can speed up your process by using GPT-4 to get all the code. But again, you still need to think of the design, the UX design, all those things are still in place. Again, speeding up the process makes it more efficient. Of course, maybe 5 years time, you can do audio. Hey, GPT.
I don't think 5 years, dude.
No,
There's no way 5 years.
Probably earlier.
This fucking year.
Yeah,
this year.
Maybe. Yeah, actually.
5 years is way too long.
Yeah, true that.
Everything we know in AI, well, of course, this has been going on for a long time, but everything we've heard of is in the past few months.
Yeah.
Just like
no, that's very accurate. That's very accurate. And then another thing that I think is very crazy about all of this is that he's doing all of this live and everything is super fast. Everything, he doesn't wait. And then the conversation is ongoing. Can you change this? Can you change that? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give all the Metal Spark documentation and Lens Studio documentation to GPT-4 when I have access to it.
Oh, for whoever that doesn't know, these two are the AR softwares that we use for Instagram and Snapchat.
Oh, maybe I'll do Unreal Engine 5 too. And then and can get GPT by my side creating dope ass AR VR experiences.
And I mean, as long as you have a little bit of a basic coding knowledge, you can then go ahead and add your own stuff to it and just perfect it and have a perfectly running code.
Yeah.
Do you think I can use it for blueprints in Unreal Engine 5?
200%.
I've already used it for Blender Python, using Python to run things in Blender. It already works. If you haven't tried it out, if you're a 3D artist, go check out some videos of people using ChatGPT 3, not even 4, for Blender. Just ask it to create, let's say I want an array of 10 cubes in a circle, and it will do that for you. So if you were to create that yourself and it would take you time to adjust it, because it's using code, it's going to be like a perfect circular shape, and it does it in like a second. So I know people are already using that, but I can imagine with GPT-4 it's going to get more complex and it's going to become smart.
Yeah, 100%. Now we talk about some exciting stuff. The guy did, I would say, a thing that a lot of people consider it boring. So it told GPT that you are tax GPT. So you have to do my taxes. He uploaded all the tax codes and then it gave it a scenario. This guy is married to this guy. Their income is this. These are the expenses. What is their tax deduction? It came up with all the tax deduction.
Was it accurate?
Yeah, it was accurate. And the best part is you can ask ChatGPT to explain it to you. So sometimes you can say, oh, what is my tax deduction? You say, oh, it's $1,000 your tax deduction. But how did you get that $1,000? It will say that, oh, your income is $20,000 less your expenses. You have this much, I don't know, profit from here, rental properties. It will explain everything. So not only you get the last result, you understand the whole process. And I personally digged a lot into all these tax grants and everything. I have to read the documentation over and over again to understand. And sometimes something is in chapter 1 and then you have to go to chapter 20 to continue. It's all over the place. This brings everything into one place, summarize it, and you're good to go.
That's fucking crazy.
But so the guy said, nor me, neither ChatGPT is your tax advisor. Anything happens, I'm not going to be responsible for that.
No, of course you should do a final check yourself.
Yeah.
Just that it will help you speed up the process. Okay, I have one question. So these are all the examples that you saw.
This was all the example I saw in the show, and I'm going to put a link of the show so people can watch it for themselves.
Okay, so that's GPT-4. Now let's move on to Midjourney, because Midjourney just talked about V5. Now, there's unfortunately no demo video like the one Farhad watched where they described all the different possibilities. And I believe that the GPT-4 release has a lot more aspects to it. Very simply put, Midjourney V5 actually comes up with higher resolution, better detail, and wider range of styles compared to V4. This is something they announced themselves in their Discord channel. But what really matters is also the human anatomy. This is something that I saw myself. So when you actually go to the Discord server and in the announcements tab, they have a rating model link. And what they want to do before they release V5, they want to make sure people are hyped up about V5. They want to make sure that the model itself that is being trained is accurate, not just based on their own bias, but based on the actual users. And the users is what matters. We are the ones training the data sets in reality by choosing the images that we like. And so they have this training model on their website where it shows you two photos of the same essentially prompt, I imagine. And also there's another version where it's showing you two photos that is not from the same prompt. And your job is to choose the one that you like more. And that could be based on the resolution, based on the detail, based on the realism. But generally speaking, even though they said this is not V5 yet, it's still plain dull and it's not super accurate like what V5 is going to be, the improvement is crazy. We have a video popping up right now, and this is showing you the fucking difference of Midjourney V5. Speaking of human anatomy, prior to V5, it's difficult for Midjourney. It's challenging to get the human anatomy right. So sometimes you would end up with 6 fingers.
Oh, I've seen that photos all over social media. Like there were photos of 3 guys sitting down, and there were a guy asking what was wrong with the photo, and it was like, why the guy has fucking 6 fingers? So he was like sitting like this, and you would count. There were 12 fingers.
Yes. Sometimes you wouldn't even notice it,
Yeah,
but there's
but
like an extra
yeah.
finger, or even the face. Sometimes like the eyes wouldn't be symmetrical. You know, you could tell that was a Midjourney V4 or V3 or whatever. But in this upgraded version, more often than not, you're going to get really crazy, realistic faces. And reminding you again, these faces are not real faces. Like when you look at these photos, you're like, oh, that looks like someone I might know, but then they don't actually fucking exist. That's the crazy part. That's the crazy. There's no one living in this world that looks like that. That's the fucking crazy part. Unless we find out that it actually does. I don't know. But according to themselves, these are all AI generated, so they don't look like anybody you would see in real life. And then again, there's other things like the abs, you know, the complexity of the muscles. All these things are a lot more defined. And the same thing goes for animals as well. There's a lot of animal photos we saw in V5, the rating of the models, like the cats, the dogs, the wolves. The fur looks a lot more real. They look a lot better. So I'm imagining it's just the fact that they've trained their model really well. They've upgraded the algorithm. It seems like that's the case here.
But I think it's good to talk about how we actually, I mean, of course it creates amazing images, but how we actually use it and how people can have practical application from Midjourney.
So Midjourney, just for everybody, it's a text-to-image prompt application. It runs on Discord, and you essentially go in there, you type in /imagine, and you just give it a prompt, and it will turn that prompt into an image based on its data sets. Now, we use it for a lot of different things. We've used it for logo ideas, where we needed to see, for example, for the coffee break here, we needed a logo. We actually started looking and asking for different designs. We've done that. We have looked for images for the Snapchat Lensathon. We wanted to join a competition, and we
actually used it. So the thumbnail is from Midjourney. So we started, I think I gave 20 prompts to get the final result, but the final result was amazing. And then also for the game UI display, we used that. I said I want an ancient Egyptian script with symbols on it. Of course, it was 3 lines, but it gave me, and I used it because I suck at UI design.
And you cannot do it in 5 seconds.
Yes, and it did it. Oh my fucking God.
So I use it for other things like thumbnails. Sometimes I don't. I know people on YouTube actually use it straight away for their thumbnails. I don't like to do that yet. Maybe in V5, the quality is so good that I will because it's so real. But up until now, even if I want to do a thumbnail, I probably just ask it for the idea, and then I will create my own based on the results. Actually, that's honestly, I would say up until V4, that's most of the use case for us is getting ideas from it. So let's say we want to design a flyer or a poster or even a scene in Unreal Engine 5 or a scene in Blender or even a human for MetaHumans. It's not like we're going to use that photo straight up. It's we want to get ideas for what that might look like. Let's say I want to do a scene with Joker, right? And I don't know what my scene should look like or the vibe or the colors. Using Midjourney, I get references and I'll put in a prompt like Joker dancing in a red, tone room, and I'll just write cinematic lighting and all that, and it will spit out 4 images that look like something I probably have in my head, but I just can't put it down into the software. So this is how I use it, usually to get references. However, I think with V5 and possibly with the upcoming versions after that, it's turning to be so real, the results, that you can actually end up using it as it is and not just for references. So for your thumbnails, for your posters, and people won't be able to realize that it's AI generated.
That's true. But one thing I would say, not say disappointed, but I really wanted to happen is to having words on the image. I still don't know why they cannot figure it out. Like something as simple as press start or let's play. The words, it cannot comprehend the words and put it in the image. So I hope version 6 it comes with the words. But an important thing about Midjourney and all these AI text to image tools are how you prompt it. Faraz is a real pro. I have seen him using
I wouldn't
it.
even say I'm a real pro in our house, but I've seen the real pros.
So
you know?
I mean, it's crazy the words that they use and how it can change the image. So usually when I go, I will make it very simple. I will say, for example, ancient Egyptian script with symbols on it. But when Faraz goes, give us the size, cinematic, color type, lighting, like everything, material, angle, all those things actually have effect. So it helps for a better image creation, right?
100%. You have to learn how to talk to the AI, and the same thing goes with you. Like I cannot talk to GPT like you do because you know how to, keep a conversation going and make sure you get a better answer over time. It's the same thing with Midjourney. The more detail you put into your prompt, the better your result is going to be, and the detail goes down literally. You usually start by explaining what you want in the image. So let's say you want a woman in a red dress. And of course, already I've described the color of the dress that I want. So that helps a lot. But then after that, you go and continue to see what style do you want. If you want it to be in the style of someone art, let's say Picasso, you would write that, right? In the style of Picasso. And then if you want it to be a certain lighting in that photo, you go ahead and explain that. So if you want cinematic lighting, or if you want it to be completely black and white, still in the style of Picasso, but black and white, you will go ahead and describe that. If you want the photo to be a certain aspect ratio, right, because you want to use the photo as a thumbnail for YouTube, then you go ahead and explain that aspect ratio to the prompt. If you want it to be a specific, if you know, even in ChatGPT, there's things called creative, I believe. Like you can give it a level of 0 to 1.
Or you can give thumbs up and thumbs down. That's what
No, not that one. I'm talking about the dev version where you actually explain to it like how creative I want you to get with the answer.
Oh,
you know what I mean? The same thing exists with Midjourney, so you can explain that in the prompt. Like, I want you to go super creative, or I want you to be not super creative, as in like stick to exactly what I'm telling you. So you have all these prompts. Now, we found a GitHub link that we're gonna put into the description, and some guy, I forgot his name, shout out to him, he went and he took basically a reference of all the different styles, the different colors that you can explore, like lime green or whatever, and literally has photo references of all these prompts. And then you can see, if I want my photo to look like this, I'm gonna put this style that he put, I'm gonna put this color, and you just take all of these and start experimenting. Just try it out and create. And of course, you can also steal other people's prompts. That's something that I do. That's like my biggest hack. Just go to the newbie channel on Discord and look at all these prompts that people are putting out and see the photos that look really good. Take their prompt. You probably find something in the prompt that you find interesting. Use that for yourself. Keep experimenting. Keep adding, removing, modifying, and you'll end up with really great images. We talked about the crazy Midjourney 5 updates. We talked about GPT4 updates. There's something interesting that I searched about yesterday, and I want to share it with you guys. It's essentially telling you guys, how do these text-to-image prompts work? Because Farhad was like, hey, tomorrow, what are you going to talk about? I was like, I'm going to talk about Midjourney. He was like, maybe you can talk about how Midjourney works. And I was like, wait a second, I actually have no fucking idea how it works. And I feel like we need to share that with you because we did do the research and it is actually quite interesting. If up until now you had no idea how these AIs work, you're going to get a better understanding. If you want to talk about any sort of deep learning technology, we have to look at the algorithm that is being used. But before looking at the algorithm in this case, you want to talk about the data set. The data set is how we train these models to essentially learn and improve and get better over time. So these data sets are essentially images, books, journals, websites,
social
tweets,
media, yeah.
Exactly. All these things that have been in the internet for years and have been written and added to by us human beings. And the data sets for companies such as Openai, I can only imagine how large they are, right? So these data sets are then created, but the problem is, how do you tell, for example, the Midjourney data set, how do you differentiate between a banana or a balloon? So looking at this video yesterday is very interesting. This whole data set space is called the multidimensional latent space. And how it works is, for a computer, it doesn't see images like how we do. It doesn't have eyes. So for us, it's very easy to differentiate between a banana and a red balloon. But for a computer, it's essentially only seeing numbers, right? We're talking about RGB planes, right? The red, green, and blue. And these planes all have pixels, and these pixels have numbers from 0 to 255, which define essentially what the image ends up looking like. And for the computer to define what a banana looks like, it starts adding in dimensions. So the first dimension we can look at here is, for example, yellowness, right? Between all the bananas that are put into the data set, it can sort of tell, okay, I can see a pattern here, a combination of RGB values that together shows me yellowness, right? That I do not see when I look at the red balloons. So then I can tell these are yellow bananas. But then what happens if the balloon now is also yellow? How can you tell the difference? Well, then you add another dimension. You add the second dimension, which could be roundness. And then you find patterns in the data sets that you give to, the machine. And then it can tell, okay, now I know what roundness sort of looks like. Now I can tell the round yellow balloon from the banana.
So in today's AI models, we have like probably 300, 400 parameters that defines this dimension.
Yeah.
And we go down to the level of shininess, roughness.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Like the more parameters that we have, probably the more accurate the result will become.
And also you can think about the fact that it makes it more complex. So you need more computational power to go through all these dimensions. Now, what's really crazy is also, I've seen the controversial things on the internet about AI. It's all about this latent space, the multidimensional latent space, because some of these comparisons and these parameters are going to be dark, because essentially, if you think about OpenAI, they also had to block some of these parameters. Let's say you want to talk about what happened in World War II, right? I'm even afraid to fucking say it on the podcast because you never know how YouTube algorithm actually looks for these words. But essentially how Kanye went down. Let's just, I don't even need to say it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So for the AI to be smart enough to tell things apart, there needs to be more parameters. And sometimes these parameters are parameters that are controversial. So that's why OpenAI, every time they update their model, they have to look for some of these parameters or dimensions that are added that create unwanted results. Results that might be too gory, too bloody, or racist, or sexist. And so that's why you see with OpenAI, they're always updating the model. Same thing with Midjourney. Now, what's really funny is we did talk to one of our friend developers. His name is Graham. Shout out to you. He did say there was one developer that he met at a tech meeting that he managed to
bypass all of this. And
you can tell them maybe what he was doing.
So he bypassed some of these policy rules and created, I think, nudity on Midjourney. And then it's crazy to see what the outcomes of those things when we remove all these filters.
Yeah.
But probably they took his account down. And
I mean, you can always create new accounts, right? But you can imagine there's a lot of blocks and filters between OpenAI's data set and you, the user, because if it was completely open, you can essentially search and get anything you want. And I'm sure they don't want that because it's going to go crazy. But that is the topic of the latent space. Let's talk about the actual algorithm that generates the images. There's two algorithms that we're going to discuss today. The first one being GAN, which stands for Generative Adversarial Network. Now, this algorithm uses generators and discriminators. So the generator within this algorithm creates an image, and the discriminator, you can think of it like a police that is watching every single image that is generated, and it's defining if the image looks real or fake. And how it defines that is based on the data set. Is like, oh no, this human has like 5 eyes. That's not real.
So go and recreate it again, right? So
exactly.
So it will say, like, you will come to
penalizes the generator.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you will generate as long as the discriminator approve the final output. Then only you will publish the result.
Exactly. And we're not the discriminator. Just mind you, this is within the algorithm.
Yeah, for sure.
Every time the discriminator is like, this looks real, this looks fake. This looks good, this looks fake. But then there's some issues with GAN. So after doing a bit of research, we realized GAN is not the most stable algorithm to take. This is, of course, a lot more complex when you go down to the mathematics and the details. We're just giving you an overview. Now, GAN is a model that I believe Midjourney was using, but they have now either completely switched to a diffusion model, which we're going to discuss now, or they've probably done a mix of diffusion and GAN or probably other algorithms. But diffusion, which Stable Diffusion uses as well, is essentially using Gaussian noise. And it essentially takes your prompt, breaks it down into small parts that the system can understand, and then it goes and looks for those prompts in its data set, and it generates a preview or a beginning image, and then it starts using the Gaussian noise to add and take away and then predict what the image will look like, which is why I believe when you go to Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, you always see a noisy image, right? And then it's at 0%, and it's going up to 30%, 60%, 90%. But what's actually happening behind the scene is crazy, because these sort of generations is essentially for loops of noise being added and removed, according to our understanding, and it's happening on a very rapid pace, even though the process is huge. You can imagine going through all those dimensions that we just talked about. So this is essentially how diffusion works.
So now we have covered GPT and Midjourney.
Yeah.
I think these are the two most practical AI tools that we use on our daily basis. We gave you the updates that, it just happened in the past week, and we are so excited to try these new things. There are other AI tools out there, which I have a few names that I'm going to tell you guys if you're going to go and try it, which will help your workflow. One of them is Adobe Podcast. So we haven't used it for our podcast, but it apparently enhanced the audio quality of your mic.
You've seen the videos, right?
I've seen, you can get this quality with this expensive mic with a very small mic
with an iPhone.
Yeah,
with an iPhone.
So one is Adobe Podcast. Another interesting one that I saw was called, I think, Dummy, Dumme.
What is that about?
It turns your podcast to YouTube Shorts. It automatically cuts, transcripts it, and make it ready to publish on YouTube Shorts.
Is it out yet?
You can request for a wait list. So
Okay.
that's another one which
Did
was...
you already?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So I just want to try it. And now another tool which I use for content writing or blog posts is Copy AI and also Jasper.ai. So Jasper is
I
a
have
paid
not
service.
used them.
So usually people use it to write blog posts, website content, even
Okay.
caption on social media. I've seen a lot of people using this.
Why won't you want to use like GPT-4 for
There are
that?
different models, so they will give you different results. Jasper and Copy.ai are really focused on content writing.
Okay.
So there are categories. You want to write blog posts, website content,
Right.
social media, flyer, drill down to the details.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was one that you mentioned, Wonder Dynamics. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes. So Wonder Dynamics, actually, I almost forgot about this. Wonder Dynamics, we did mention it in our broadcast channel. We have a broadcast channel, by the way, on Instagram. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's essentially a private group called Secrets of Bad Decision, in which we send out all these news that we find out before we talk about it on the podcast. So if you want to stay up to date, make sure you join the broadcast channel. Now, I do want to say one thing. Wonder Dynamics is a website we found out about just a couple of days ago. Essentially, it takes a feature film sort of videos, so a video that you record from the real world. Let's say I record Farhad running on the street, and I feed it that video. Then it will analyze Farhad as a human in the video. It will analyze his body movement, so it will attach an armature to him, analyze his body movement, analyze his facial movement, and then it has a list of 3D characters that other artists have created, or you can upload your own 3D character and drag it and drop it onto Farhad, and then you will remove Farhad. It will automatically remove Farhad from the video and replace him with the 3D character, and the 3D character will also have perfect lighting and composition
That's
according to your scene.
crazy.
All of this sounds fucking unbelievable.
Is it a waitlist thing or is it open?
It is on a wait list,
Did
so
you
you
sign
have
up?
to request for access. It's in closed beta, but I have not seen people with videos. The videos on the website look too good to be true.
It's crazy. The whole concept, rigging the character, replacing lighting, all this take hours, like days to do.
And for the AI to be able to all of that cleanly, it doesn't make any sense to me. And honestly, I do not want to trust Wonder Dynamics. However, there's this thing where you go to the team and you see one of the founders is the actor, the main protagonist of Ready Player One. So that gives it credibility. Then on the board of advisors, you have Steven Spielberg. You have Russo, the guy who was behind Marvel, Avengers, and all that. So you have this all-star team that is the board of advisors, and you have two founders, one of which I know from Ready Player One. It looks like these guys know what the fuck they're doing. And on top of that, on March 21st, 22nd, or 23rd, at one of the NVIDIA talks, I believe at GDC, these guys, Wonder Dynamics, is doing a presentation. And we're going to watch that.
Let's watch that and see what, like, I'm really keen to try it.
Exactly. So if these guys are going there and this is the team, they probably will not release a product that does not work. But the thing is, if this does work, you have no idea, like, all of the limitations and capabilities, all of the limitations that it's bypassing to reach that final output. It means we have so much advancement in CGI and VFX that a lot of the work that we're doing right now in Blender and Unreal Engine is just extra work that we don't even need to do if the AI can do it. So looking forward to Wonder Dynamics. Go and request for early access for Wonder Dynamics if you can. And the moment it comes out, we'll be testing it out. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
If you guys have any other tools that you want us to try or analyze, put them down in the comments. We will be trying out all the cool things. Like I've tried Instruct Pix2Pix, Dreamix, all those different tools. And I posted video on our social media. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We will post all of our, small content. But we really are looking for practical use cases like GPT and Midjourney in our daily lives who can help and speed up our processes.
Yeah.
It was great talking about AI. This past week has been full of news, full of information. And next week, we're going to have a little surprise.
That's right. Actually, that was the news I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, okay.
My fucking
I
God.
want to say at the end.
That was the news I wanted to talk about. We have been dreaming of doing this as part of the podcast, but it took us 5 episodes, not that long, to get it. But Farhad has already requested 3 guests for the next 3 episodes. And how we're doing this is we're going to be essentially inviting guests on the podcast. So this podcast is not just going to be about me and Farhad talking about topics. It's a chance for us to talk to other people, AR artists, 3D artists, business owners.
Yeah, and then creators. We want to get everybody's opinion. So I think talking to other people and how they made it or what is their process like, it gives you a better understanding of processes. And maybe it can inspire you as well and inspire us.
We're going to be announcing who the guests are on our social media platforms like Instagram. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But I think that is it for today. Episode number 5. We fucking did it. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.